Morning. Here I am on Ellison on a very cold and frosty late December morning. And today, after a really successful day yesterday, I start on the bit that really I've been dreading, which is taking the engine mounts or loosening off the engine mounts. The reason I've been dreading it is that the mounts themselves are made of steel. They're not made of stainless, and so they're quite badly corroded. In fact, one of them I was going to have to replace anyway at some point soon. And some of the bolts and the nuts are also normal steel. They're not stainless. So I think that this is going to be a hard job. Maybe I am going to have to end up cutting some of the stuff off with my angle grinder, which I suppose some people might find fun, but I don't. But this is the last step, and after that, then we should be able to lift the engine out. Here's one of the engine mounts. As you can see, this is severely corroded. So, yeah, it might be that this one just gets cut off. Here's another one. So this one's in better nick. A couple of nuts there which we might be able to do something with, and then at the back it all looks a bit better. So that looks like it's a stainless steel bolt, so that might come off. This is obviously a normal steel nut which is nicely rusted in place, and then on the other side I think it's the same thing. See if I can get at it. This is going to be the hardest to get at. You can just see one of the nuts down there. So that's obviously not very accessible. Yeah. And then that nut there is nice and rusty. Well, look at that. That's come straight off. Well, that's a little bit of good news. So, looks like these rear ones, all being stainless steel, might be movable. That's great. Well, will you look at this? These are stainless steel nuts just covered in a layer of paint. So this is turning out to be a very good day. Oop, it's getting tight. Well, this has gone a lot better than I expected. All of these are stainless steel. So once I dug the paint off them and the rust from around them, then they came free pretty easily. These are not threaded right to the top. So I'm going to try probably unscrewing it all the way, just see if it's a threaded threaded rod, and it will just like unscrew like that. But otherwise what I can do is just chop the top off, and then I'll be able to get the nut off. I've had a go at moving the mount itself, so you can kind of see that this does move. So all in all, this is a lot better than I was expecting. So a really successful day. I'm just going to tidy up now, and then probably finish off tomorrow. Well, what an unbelievably successful day. It looks like getting the engine mounts off is going to be a lot easier than I thought it would be. So there's a few bits that I need to do to get those last 4 nuts off. But I'm going to kind of leave it for now and come back and finish off another day, and then and think about exactly how I'm going to get the engine out of the boat. Bye for now. Morning. After yesterday's success, I've done a whole load of research on lifting the engine out of the boat, and the consensus is that you can use the boom. So if you attach the halyard to the point where the you're lifting it, then you can use the mast and the boom to lift the engine. It suggests from the research that I've done that the BMC 1.5 engine and gearbox together weigh about 250 kilos, which apparently is okay. Now, I'm not going to lift it all the way out on the boom, because there's actually, in Scarborough Harbour, there is a crane. So I will be using that for getting it all the way out of the boat. But before I do that, I do want to test that it will actually lift up. So I was going to climb to the top of the mast today and just check all the fixings at the top to make sure everything's in good nick. It was fine last time I went up there. But the weather's looking a little bit dodgy at the moment, so it was supposed to be clear this morning with no showers until afternoon. But the showers are already coming in, so I'm going to leave that for another day. So what I'm going to do today is, you know those nuts that were on the threaded rod at the front of the engine? I'm going to have a go at getting those out. And then everything will be ready and I can just lift the engine out of the boat. So that's my task for today. Let's see how it goes. So that was easy enough. These two just came straight out, and then on the other side, okay, so one of them came out, the other one I ended up screwing the nut off the end of this threaded bolt. So it was a bit tougher to do, but in the end the nut actually cut its own screw thread, so it should all be ready to go now. So when I next get a decent bit of weather, what I'm going to do is just lift the engine off its mounts just to make sure I can get it all clear. I think I need to buy myself a couple of straps. As I say, it's 250 kilos. I was wondering about using a couple of my climbing slings, but to be honest, I don't want to trash them just for kind of one use. So I'll buy some lifting straps. They're not very expensive, and some shackles, and yeah, it should be an interesting thing to do. So I've decided to take this bracket off because this is the kind of the widest bit of the engine now. It's got the solenoid here. It's attached by 4 nuts, so 1, 2, 3, 4, top and bottom. Pretty easy. It just means that the engine's going to be a little narrower and hopefully easier to get out of the companionway. There we go. I've got the bracket off there. Put the nuts back on. So the lucky person that buys this engine should be able to put it all straight back together. Well, there we go. Another successful day. I'm starting to get a bit nervous about this now, because actually nothing I've done so far has been that difficult. Even getting the engine mounts loosened off. So I'm sure I'm going to come across some kind of horrible stopper eventually. But for now, things are going well. So I will see you again soon.